Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective, coming here on the heels of a Cowboys loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. Damn, I hate Philly. 28-23, the Eagles go to 8-1. The Cowboys are now 5-3. Very emotional game, very physical game as we expected coming in, and a game in which there's going to be all these talking points, but this is my channel, so this is where I'm coming from. And hit that like button, subscribe, the whole bit. If you're a Cowboys fan here, or anybody just watching, I appreciate it. But even those dirty Eagles fans will be in the comments here shortly, pulling up on their victory lap. But in all seriousness, this football game, it shows you how close and how apart these two teams are. I mean, there's anybody with eyeballs that really understands the game, you understand that Dallas and Philadelphia, they match up really well. Styles make fights, the styles match up really well. Divisional opponents, they're going to be, the Philly again against Dallas, and a game against Dallas does not have all these advantages as they typically do against most of the other people they face in the NFL. And Dallas has been able to have a lot of success against Philadelphia as well as including today. But certain elements where you look at from a situational dynamic, for example, Philadelphia is down 17-14 at halftime, but they come out and as one of the best teams, if right now they are the best team, they have the best record in the NFL. They come out, get 7 on their first drive coming out of halftime. They get a stop. They get 7 more, and they really dominate time possession that third quarter. And now they flip the game on its head, 28-17, and now we're in this hole, right? Um, that's an element that a lot of people don't talk about from a situational perspective of how you approach the game right out of halftime, how you approach the game in those situational moments. Now, the emotional aspect, everybody's going to talk about the end of the game and the opportunities that Dallas had down in the red area. There's elements of flat out luck that played out today. When you have fumbles on the ground from Philadelphia's offense, Swift and guys running into each other, and Philly's able to recover the ball bounces a certain way and they don't get punished for those that's luck. There's nothing you can really do about that. There's an element there of execution helping lead to better luck for you, because one could look at the Schoonmaker touchdown. Let's start at that one and say, "Hey, Steve, that was a play that was unfortunate. We had bad luck, blah blah blah." But as Greg Olson explained on the broadcast, that's also lack of execution on Dallas's part, because Jake Ferguson doesn't create that rub element and create more space for Schoonmaker. So when you don't have the proper execution, when you don't run the play with the intent that it's supposed to be run, and you end up in those situations, you also have to create your own luck. And then there's an element where Philly is able to create their own luck with the officiating, which was an abomination today, quite frankly, and it really put a damper on a big chunk of this game. However, I'm not going to sit up here and blame the loss on the officiating, because we had a chance to win. We had a chance. Credit to Mike McCarthy saving those timeouts. We had a chance to go down and win this football game, despite all of that, on our own accord, and we weren't able to get it done because we continue to have red zone challenges. So, Dak Prescott stepping out of bounds on the 2-point play conversion. We can talk about that as well. Where again, just those little elements, those little attention to details, that's a challenge, and that's a tough one for me too, because I'm gonna say this: Dak Prescott was the best player on the field that played for either team today. He was the best football player on the field today, and I'm gonna show some the numbers and stuff here too. And it's not just to be box score guy, but when you think of the fact that we have offensive line challenges, especially at right tackle with Terrence Steele and the issues he had, the issues with officiating. I mean, we reported Chuma Doga. There's video evidence of us reporting him eligible on the line of scrimmage when Tony Pollard scores, and the referee still called illegal formation. And you have issues where you're battling the refs, you're battling play calls, you're having to create time after time going forward on fourth down. Very little run game. When we do have successful run game with Rico Dowdle, they call holding on Schoonmaker, right? So you're battling all these elements, but Ford today led us. Ford today was the reason why we had a chance in Philadelphia. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that play well in that stadium. There's not a lot of quarterbacks that play well against that defense and can move the ball up and down consistently against Philadelphia in that pass rush. Ford's the reason why we were even in the game. So if you're starting your analysis as a Cowboys fan with, dut, 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 Dak Prescott is the reason for this or whatever, I don't know what football game you're watching. You're misinformed, and I cannot trust your football acumen because you don't know what you're looking at, quite frankly, because he was the best player on the field. And the amount of times he cleans up bad plays that you guys don't even see or notice to keep us on schedule or to get us back, even if it is a bad play call. Those things need to be appreciated as well. Look, we talk about red zone challenges. As I share my screen here and we look at the statistical output for the game, I mean, look no further than the fact that we run the ball, and this is a big one here. Philadelphia finishes this game 109 yards rushing. They weren't great on the ground today, as Philly normally is, but schematically in their short yardage, not just tush push, Philly's able to. They have that balance, right, of being able to hand the football off and generate, offense in the manner, whether it's Swift, Gainwell getting a score early on in the game. We have 73 yards rushing, and Dak's our second leading rusher. Um, that's one of the challenges why you have. That's one of the reasons why you have challenges in the red zone, guys. And that's also with an aging offensive line, an injured offensive line, and folks that are banged up. But we fought through that. I mean, as a Cowboys fan, I'm really proud of the effort today, the fight today. I thought Mike McCarthy actually called a decent game. The use of Jake Ferguson, the way Jake Ferguson has come along, these are things these are great takeaways as the season moves along. We have to also remember that the season is a marathon, not a sprint. So while this is a big loss and it puts us behind and impacts seeding at the end of the year, there's still a lot of football left to be played. This is a week 9 football game, and it's a heated rival, all those things there. But we're seeing Dak Prescott playing some of his best football. We're seeing CeeDee Lamb playing some of his best football. Yeah, we need to see guys like Brandon Cooks get it going more. Jalen Tolbert first touchdown as a Cowboy today, and kind of unseated Michael Gallup in a lot of areas in that regard. But if the Cowboys want to get to that point where the Eagles are, they have to be more consistent and not beating themselves on, there are those controllable elements, right? And also capitalizing on certain scenarios to start the game, right? We come out and we start the game, immediately go 3 and out. The Eagles have been really good at just taking advantage of those initial possessions and the initial possessions out of halftime. And those are some of the elements that I've had frustrations with under the Mike McCarthy regime, situationally not taking advantage of those like the opponent does, especially the really, really good teams. Philly, Kansas City, San Francisco, who we're kind of battling with in the NFC, even despite their injuries. But those are the things that we have to, if we want to be knowing we can play football at their level toe to toe, those are the things we have to clean up if we want to be championship contenders. Point blank, right? The third down conversion rate's not terrible. Fourth down, but the thing is, you're constantly in those scenarios, even though you outgained Philadelphia, total yards 406 to 292. Obviously, Dak almost 400 yards, total offense and 3 touchdowns, and just trying to lead us. Defensively, again, I talk about the element of luck, not getting some of those fumbles and those turnovers, or turnover opportunities, and that third quarter where Philly's able to put 2 scores on the board and eat up a chunk and get us down by 2 scores. That's really tough to overcome. I know we definitely miss Leighton Vander Esch in the middle there, especially from a communication standpoint, when we get in the red area and just having another person that really understands what we're trying to accomplish. But Micah Parsons played his ass off today. The interior defensive line didn't allow Philadelphia to dominate running the ball. Yes, the Eagles had over 100 yards rushing as a team, but it wasn't. We weren't being. I didn't feel like we were being bludgeoned. And look, our guys in the secondary competed their asses off today. They got a bad whistle. Stephon Gilmore consistently got a bad whistle. There were some things that were happening downfield that Eagles receivers are able to get away with release wise, that our guys are not. I know Bland got burned on the Devontae Smith touchdown, but that was better offense over really good defense there, and great throw by Jalen Hurts, better catch by Devontae. But overall, I'm not pissed off with that, and the defense did get that key stop there when we had those timeouts at the end of the game. We compete our ass off. We put ourselves in position to win this game, to steal it at the end a couple times. But until we fix those red zone woes and we can figure out how to run the football with some type of effectiveness a little bit better, we're not. I don't think we are good enough, and as well as Dak is playing, to drop back 44 times and say, all right, go. And a lot of people are saying, well, he got sacked at the end of the game, and he can't take those sacks and all that type of stuff. Guys, you have to understand, playing quarterback in this league, when you don't have that support and the defense knows you're passing every single time, and you're trying to create, you're setting protections, you're trying to break down the defense downfield. There's so much going on, and yeah, I would like to see him have the awareness to throw the football away on the Josh Sweat sack, but overall, again, we're not even in position to do that. But we're not. I really don't think that this recipe long term is sustainable. I mean, we're paying Tony Pollard, as right now with the franchise situation, to be that number one back this year. And he's more of a complementary piece. Excellent football player, no doubt about it. But we're not getting that production that I feel that we need to complement the defense to get to where we want to go. But let me finish off with this. Luck is still a key element with all of this. Your execution needs to be there so you can take advantage. Opportunity and preparedness can create some of that luck. But some of this is going to come down to January matchups, who's healthy, who we're playing down the stretch. And my takeaway from this litmus test is, if we can fix some of those red zone woes, we probably win this game 30 to 28. We can beat the Eagles. We were able to beat the Eagles last season. So we know we can play with these guys. That's not a question, especially going there to Philly on the road and moving the ball up and down the field the way we did, and having a battle against, incompetent zebras and our coaches getting in our own way. So if we can play a cleaner, blander football, and look, I know Eagles fans are going to comment, hey, Sirianni and the staff, they had a boatload of mistakes on their end. We know the Eagles fans, they'll talk about Jalen Hurts' injury, Dallas Goedert's injury. There's things to clean up on that. I don't want to ignore that as well. But as a fan, honestly, it was a real football game. It's lost. I'm proud of how my quarterback battled. I'm proud of how CeeDee Lamb battled. I'm proud of how Micah Parsons fought. Bounce here, bounce there. Maybe we end up with one of those footballs. This game goes a completely different way. But we have to keep putting ourselves in that position. Giants coming up next week, 5-3. Try to stay the course. Marathon, not a sprint. Hit me in the comments. Let me know what you think about today's game. And yeah, that's all I got. Like, share, subscribe. Quick take here. Guys, remember, appreciate y'all. Cowboys will be back.